this episode of My Life podcast is that hollow because tonight my mother went in the labor with me. My parents were on an early free camping trip in a town about 200 miles east of where I live called Pine Hollow, and on that camping trip my dad and my brothers were riding 4-wheelers because that's what they did a lot of back in the day, and they were both highly inebriated, but because my mother was trained it, she couldn't go out fighting with them, so she stayed back in the house. They were staying for the week with a friend of ours who were feeling into this story a little bit later, and my dad and his buddies who been in Halloween and partying and riding 4-wheelers, and as the night went on, the party rolled on, and the girls were in the house kind of doing their thing, and the boys were out riding, and like I said earlier, they were highly inebriated, so it came time to stumble off to bed, and my mom went to walk down the hall, and she stepped on a sunset, and she didn't feel it because of the amount of pain she was in due to the pregnancy and her water breathing, and me being on my way 11 weeks early, because keep in mind, I was supposed to be born the middle of June, and I was born the 1st of April, so that makes me roughly 11 weeks premature. So, when my mom realized she was in labor, she proceeded to try and wake up my father, who doesn't want to wake up, so he just tells her to lay down, she'll be fine, it'll pass, and so finally it took my mother and their friend to finally kick him hard enough to realize it was time to go, and this was roughly about 2 o'clock in the morning. If I had to guess, after a good night of joining parties and doing all that type of stuff that young adolescents people do, because it also keeps in mind that at the time they had my parents were 18 and 22 respectively, so they were very much kids themselves. So my parents and I, in essence, kind of grew up together. So they finally got everybody pointed in the right direction and in the church and all that. Well, back in the day, my dad wasn't afraid to build a hot rod, and so at the time he had a mid-80s Chevy Blazer with a pretty twisted up 327 small block Chevy. And so they had there from Pine Hollow to the nearest hospital. And so they fly down the road with in that old Chevy Blazer, and my dad realizes my girlfriend's struggles because keeping my parents can see me out of weather. They got married shortly after they found out they were afraid. When I came to me, it was out of weather. So they realized, Dad realized my girlfriend's further, I have to fly, so he had the 327 wound up pretty good, just trying to cover as much ground as possible before he felt like we had to stop this because he didn't want to hurt us. So keep in mind, it was fine. And they're doing this in the midst of a firestorm. And so Dad's got the pedal to the metal, and he also has a police siren on the track. So he's flying down the highway with a police siren on, just trying to attract attention for himself so that he can get the help he needed without having to fight the traffic. So they're going down the road, and he realizes that mom is struggling, and so that and during all this, the friends that they were camping with were also in the truck. The ladies in the back with mom, and the guys in the front with that. Pretty soon, the boys' feet start getting hot, and they realize that at some point that during this high-speed road trip, they lost the hair type of the truck. So their feet start getting hot. But it's too late to worry about that though, because by this point, if they thought they must need or possibly my mom on the bed, so they keep the trailer to the point they just can't stand it anymore. And by that point, they have maybe to a little public town about, I would say, 50 miles from where I live, and they had a little public hospital, and so my dad says, this is it, or Fabi, hear this, I can't do no more, at some point, a police officer stopped them, I think. Now, once he realized that my parents were involved, his mindset was that families renegade to let healthy renegades and try and stay better. So he helped my dad get the last part of the trip to the hospital. They never really take it. He did a good Samaritan since once they realized how much the stress my mom was, they decided they needed the life fly us to a big hospital. Now, like I said earlier, this was in a classroom, so it was too far to get the life flight out right away. So they had to wait a couple of hours before they could do that. Well, in that time, my grandmother was called, who was a nurse. She was at a hospital in Eastern Oregon because that's where her grandfather did is they did cotton cells and horse cells and things of that nature. So she flies down to the hospital because she is a nurse, but more than that, she is a concerned grandmother, as we all were at that time. Because nobody knew for the first few days if I was gonna make it. And so they isolated my mom to a big hospital, and you have to forgive me. And remember this hospital, but my mom and I were separate for a few days, and they put me in an elevator, because obviously with me being as premature as I was nowhere near fully developed, which is in essence what led to my cerebral palsy, which is caused by the oxygen at some point during the developmental process, because what causes cerebral palsy is basically a virus that I got in the wound that then led to me getting pneumonia, and then led to me having other respiratory problems, which I will get into at a later date in a later episode. So they separated me and my mother for a few days. They kept me in an elevator, I think, and because I was 3 pounds and 2 ounces when I was born. My dad could fit me in the palm of his hand with room to spare. And finally, after I was in the hospital from April 1st to May 24th. On May 24th, they finally let us go home and start our journey together. Now, let me go back and give you a little information about how I survived. The reason I feel that I survived is in large part due to my father's mechanical wizardry and his heavy right foot and a little bit of help from the big guy upstairs because the vehicle that they had at the time and the 327 I was telling you about earlier was capable of doing 145 miles an hour. And I bet you it shot every bit of that and maybe a little bit more. Because not only is my father the best mechanic I will ever have, and I will say that he can't do it anymore, but he is also a hell of a driver. And because of the fact that I was almost doing 145 miles an hour, I am a speed freak, and I do believe in a little bit of the life in the business with, you can also call it luck, with I am very lucky to have came out the way I did, and came out of the story I just told you without a lot more of the mental disabilities that I have, which is why I believe speed and a little bit of luck were meant to be part of my life. You will to it, and I hope you will give this episode a listen as you make your next pass through town. I will see you on the next one.